are live. Hello, 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 beautiful souls. Today is June 29th, 2022. I always like to say the date, especially when we have such powerful numbers such as the 29th. Before we dive into all of that, just welcoming everybody. Kitty, just introduce yourself as I check to see we are live streaming where we need to be.
I am Kitty Foss. Let's see, which one am I going to go first with? I am a storytelling astrologer, co-owner of Intuition of the Soul, which is a platform where we do education, a free platform. With we bring on speakers and we have groups that meet and speakers like our lovely Joanne over there who's come on, and we have a whole library of things. That's just for people who are interested in different kinds of spirituality, completely free, always will be. And then also co-owner of Optimize Your Energy, which is a course, a group that meets really 3 times monthly. And we teach you how to learn about your own energies in your own chart. And so it's been a very busy couple of months that we've been working with people and teaching. And if you're interested in any of those, you can write me at intuitionofthesoul11gmail.com, or you can find me on Facebook at Intuition of the Soul, the group, and you can message me there, or just under my name, Kitty. It's actually Butaweg Foss, so good luck finding that. I probably should print that all out because that's how you can find me on Facebook. So
There we have it. There we have it. And that was a perfect introduction. It gave me enough time to make sure we are streaming. We are streaming on YouTube. So those who are with us watching live, welcome. Those who are watching on replay, if you have not subscribed, do me a favor and do so. Thumbs up, hit that, and share it out and subscribe. And I'm also streaming on my personal page, which I'm actually on right now. So anyone who pops up there, I'll be able to see your comments. And those who are watching on my business page, because that seems to be the newest thing I'm doing lately, is really when I do go live, is streaming there because it seems to be the thing I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm trying to follow the rules as a businesswoman. So anyway, for those of you who may not know who I am, I'd be really surprised. Maybe you're new. Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, your certified holistic personal trainer, intuitive healer, cosmic energy reader, medical astrologer, master of numerology, the creator of the chakra balance numerology cosmic energy forecast deck, and for what you can see behind me, the owner of Holistic Fitness, where I'm at right now. Super excited to be here to share this energy. And Kitty and I come together because we like to play together. Because that's what we do. We like to play, and any chance I get a chance to play with Kitty, I call on her and say, "Hey, do you want to share some insight and help people out with all that's going on?" Because I know that I have been hearing from so many people over the last, oh my God, probably week, that people are having a hard time. They're struggling sleeping. They get up multiple times at night and they just are not getting a restful night's sleep. So in their waking world, they're not the most happiest person because they're tired. And there's a reason why you might be having a challenging time sleeping. I always bring everything to the planets. There's always so much going on. I truly believe that when the sun changes from one zodiac sign to another, that creates a lot of energy in our system. And I know for me, that creates a lot of energy in me where I become a little overwhelmed and I overthink everything. And that gets me staying up at night trying to figure out like answers to everything I'm overthinking. And sometimes I have to remind myself that maybe just for today, I don't need the answer and I can just put it out there. When I'm supposed to know the answer, it will show up. And so I'm kind of curious to know if any of you are experiencing that since the sun's energy has moved out of Gemini and in Cancer, but yet we still have a lot of planets in Gemini. So that can be a little confusing too. So Kitty, do you find that you have that where, let's say when the sun is moving out of one zodiac sign to the other, that it disturbs your sleep?
um, it really depends on what the element is and what the sign is. And since this has gone into Cancer, Cancer is deep emotion. Cancer is the moon. The moon rules Cancer. And so it is our private side. So it really does touch dreams. And we've had a lot of energy in this Pisces energy, which is for the dream state. And now we have this major player, retrograde, which means internally it is a reality check. So that's part of what is waking people up, is that Neptune is retrograde.
And again, it's depending on what their zodiac signs are. And I know for me, I have Mercury in Aquarius and also my moon in Aquarius. So yeah, it gets me like up. My brain just starts to, it's like someone turns on, I don't know if I don't even know what it's called, but years back when you used to be able to play a song and just put it on like where it would repeat over and over and over again. Well, that's what happens to my brain is I get a thought in my head, whether it's something I'm focused on where I need a question to, or just something I'm creatively in my brain, and it just replays and replays and replays. And it's like, okay, can we just turn it off for now so I can go to damn sleep? But it makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It's been a interesting time anyway, because we had this period, this particular month, where we were kind of being asked to line up in what's called the inner child quadrant, which is all about who we are and how we came in and what our goals were and all of those things. Because there's this newer information that's coming in this evolutionary time, and you can see it in kind of the things that are coming forth, the kind of craziness that's all around us, the big changes and the big pushback, trying to go back and, don't look back. We're not going that way. And a kind of call and rally. And this is all very feminine, all very receiving. And then we set that up, and then all of a sudden we have this big call to this reality check. What is it I really want to see and be? And it can feel kind of heavy. That's just the way it is. So it affects your sleep, affects, and there are different areas in your life that you're just being asked to check on. And that's what's happening.
Exactly. And it's so funny because when we're speaking about just the energies, like the moon obviously was in Cancer, but the moon is Cancer is ruled by the moon. And then this retrograde in Neptune is in Pisces. And as I said, my Mercury and my moon is in Aquarius. So all this energy, not to like just turn it on to me and make it all about me, but all this energy definitely is connected to me because, again, I have my rising sign in Cancer. I have my sun sign in Pisces. So, yeah, I guess that would be one of the reasons why I may be a little overwhelmed or overthinking, or maybe not even overthinking so much, but just in the mindset of like, okay, I know there's things that are unraveling. And it's a good thing that it's unraveling because it's supposed to unravel, whatever it is I'm supposed to be learning.
Well, it's very interesting because it's interesting you bring up your sun sign and your ascendant, because those are really, really affected, those energies, depending on the transits in this Neptune retrograde. It's we started feeling it right around the solstice, because it kind of came to a grinding halt before it turned. And when it retrogrades, it's going backwards around, which is actually clockwise. And so your Pisces is transiting, that energy is transiting the first house. So it's being seen. And more than any other sign, actually, you've got this rebound to be who you're supposed to be. And don't get caught in the dreaming, and don't get, really kind of tighten it down. And it's out there for everyone. So like anyone's rising sign, it's the law of attraction, but yours is like tripled at this point. It's the only way I can explain it to you. So,
I mean, again, it makes sense. It makes sense. And when we think about it, in regards to the direction and being able to be seen, and like we said, with the sun energy, it's fully stepping into what I came here to do.
Right.
And no matter, not that I fight it, because I don't believe I fight it. I do believe I try to really be in that energy. And I've been told by many that I am definitely living in my purpose. It's just that my purpose is sort of expanding.
Yeah.
A little bit beyond, a little bit out of what I'm used to. So it's sort of, it has me in a space of like, okay, so how exactly is this going to start to look once everything does, I guess, land is the word I'm hearing.
Right.
How's it going to look? Because I still don't know how it's going to look. I have it in my mind. It's really funny because Kitty and I were chatting, I don't even remember, months ago. And she had mentioned to me that she sees intuitively that I'm going to be creating another deck of cards. And she's told me this. And in the last couple of, I don't know, last week and maybe 4 weeks ago, I keep hearing deck of cards. And I keep getting like little visions of different things. And I'm like, okay. And it's just not quite clear. But then I come back to what you told me in reference that you're going to be creating another deck of cards. I'm like, okay. And I'm just waiting to see what it really looks like so I can understand it better. Because you mentioned that it's going to have to do with astrology.
Yeah, I think it's going to have to do astrology and understanding the numbers with astrology. I'm actually I'm looking up while I'm sitting here to kind of go over to talk to you about what Neptune's going to do, because it's your so for anyone, it's their sun and their ascendant. And of course, you've got to look at where your Neptune is, because that's your life lesson card. So do you know where your Neptune is natally?
I sure do. I looked it up before we came on because I knew, as I say to those who watch me, to always have their chart with them, because we always are going to talk about our charts. So my Neptune is in Sagittarius in the 8th house.
So here's the interesting thing. So Sagittarian energy with this Neptune is about your ancestors coming through, different powers to literally see ghosts and relationships and things like that. And of course, in the 8th house, it's about that transformation. So that's your natal, the truth in transformation. So that natally is always going to be activated. And in this retrograde, that means it's going to be working with this, what's coming to you in your ascendant and your sun sign. And Pisces is, I'm going to literally read what I was just writing this down. It's going to be asking you to be very clear about who you are. Have you lost yourself in another? Do you put your own dreams first more than any other sign? This is the biggest reality check. You'll be required to pull back a bit and revise, but you will not completely disappear, because it's not your true nature. Discernment. You're transiting that 1st house. You will need to use your social circles as a mirror to see really what it is you're putting forward. Avoid spending time with people who don't meet your value standards. And, you can play the chameleon this time, but because that's what Pisces does, but don't play it so much that you've lost. You need to find the people that are your mirrors. So that's the energy that's coming to you. So now it's coming to you, and you've got this truth and transformation about what to do with it, because that's your natal Neptune.
Yeah. So when you say I need to attract people who are my mirrors, what I get from that is that I want to attract people that's going to help me discover who I am.
Discover who you are, but more a reality track of you staying with what you're here to do. So that don't distract you from your purpose. Kind of use them. Am I putting my dream first, even dealing with this person or dealing with these people? That kind of thing.
So I get excited when I hear that, because what I get from that also is, because I will be attracting people that's going to mirror for me, they're going to help me really, as long as I'm focused and not get distracted, they're going to help me really move into my bigger purpose.
Yes, your bigger purpose.
More of that.
And one of the things, though, to do to help balance this is to make sure you take time to play and let humor reign. Because you need the perspective in order to keep yourself first. Right. And this is a time to pull back a little bit, to look at that mirror. Just what we do is we reflect, and that's a lot about what this is. So
exactly, I love that. Just checking in to see who's joining us, and maybe you can give them some insight as well. As usual, our Robin is here, And she says her Neptune's in Scorpio in the second house. So can you give her, let me make sure that, yeah, second house. Can you give her some insights?
Sure. That's her lifetime is in about values and Scorpio, which is in the house of Taurus. So it's that very fixed energy of transforming in values, transforming with money, transforming with that, trying to stabilize. Robin, what's your rising sign and your sun? Because those are the energies that Neptune is going to give you your reality check-in.
Okay, her rising sign is Virgo.
Okay.
And she hasn't put yet her sun sign.
Well, let's start with Virgo because that's what's coming to her. All right. I'm getting all my notes because it's just easier. Libra. So what's coming to you is commitment issues for you to back out of, or they'll back out for you. Everyday realities of, that's Virgo's energy, are to be re-examined about, is this what I signed up for? This is the reality check. Your rose-colored glasses aren't necessarily bad, but it might be time to renegotiate some of your commitments. Prioritize in small ways how you want to fulfill your needs. You are transiting the 7th house, so it is the house of relationships, and that may bring somewhat of a romance roller coaster within relationships itself. It will be hard to predict how this unfolds, and you may be dealing with some disenchantment. But again, this is the check the reality of what is it I'm supposed to do. You'll emerge as you always do, because Virgo energy is problem solving, and things will come to you to help it be clear and about what your heart actually wants and the details how to proceed.
Nice. And her sun energy is Leo.
That I already knew. I should have said something at that. So the other reality check for you is the real wisdom of self-care that comes forward, because Leo is always about self. You're not here to save everyone, even if your heart calls you to do it. You'll need to question your own repeating patterns and kind of draw some firmer lines. So as this stuff unfolds coming to you with that Virgo, with partnerships, you be mindful of who you trust. This is transiting the 8th house of secrets, Neptune. And since you already have that Scorpio, that's going to be a very familiar connection because you have that Scorpio in that 2nd house with Neptune. Be mindful of you trust and look beyond charisma and charm and the support. You may need to feel a little more private. It's time. This is a time where your hard work will be rewarded as long as you use your true empowerment to prioritize your goals. So again, this is a lot about prioritizing the smaller things, what you're putting your energy into. This is not easy energy necessarily when Neptune, because it's a reality check, but we need the reality to know where we build. Plus, we co-create with spirit, so we can co-create a different reality too.
Love that. So Robin, let us know how that resonates with you, if you're feeling like some of that is going on for you already, because we'd like to know. I'm sure Kitty's on track anyway, because why would she not be? So yes, so anybody else who is watching on my personal page, we are reading the insight here. If you want to put in your sun, your rising sign, this right here gives us some information that Kitty can share with you and give you some idea to what's coming up in this energy. I know for me, when I come on live so I can provide you a navigator to help you move through what we're doing. And when you have Kitty giving you some insight to what's going to take place, how it can take place, what to do, what not to do, it becomes a no-brainer. You have everything. So there's really no room for mistakes, so to speak. So it's almost to the point where it's like somebody saying, well, I didn't have a choice. Well, Kitty's giving you some insight, so you have a choice.
Well, and to understand the bigger energy is, this Neptune Pisces has been around since 2012, and it is native to it. So it's a very powerful energy. And on April 12th of this year, there was a big conjunction with Jupiter in Pisces, the planet of expansion. And this higher Neptune. Jupiter is higher learning, and Neptune, the planet of spirit, what's somewhat hidden. And they had a kind of conversation at that point. And part of the conversation was that Neptune or Jupiter was getting ready to start a new 12-year cycle because it's moved to Aries. And so it's here in this new 12-year cycle helping all of us expand. And so now Neptune, after having this conversation, is coming back to say, hey, folks, these are the areas you got to deal with a reality check. Pisces is a very dreamy, imaginative, flowing energy, and Neptune is spirit. And so here, what is the reality? What are the things that are in my way for what I want to do? And depending on the house, like when we looked at Leo, it's about you questioning repeating patterns and understand what your realm of possibility is and isn't by what maybe you've seen as yourself, but can see it different, and because it's the eighth house, it's a house of deception and taboo, but it's also birth and rebirth. So, and it's, both of those, one is fire, and the other is earth. So they're male and female. So there's a balance there for Robin. For me, it is all fire. Or no, it's fire and water. So that could be putting out the fire versus or boiling the water, So definitely. I heard read a really interesting description of the major three we have. Would you like to hear it?
Sure.
It compares us to a car. Your moon is the interior, the options that you have and how you put your inside life and drive and all those things that make you up. Your sun is your engine. How many horsepower, what it does, what drives you all the time. It's that, and your rising sign is your chassis, your how you're seen in the world, the shape, the aerodynamic flow. Therefore, what the chassis is the first thing that comes to something. Things come, the bugs that hit the chassis, all of those things. So it's what also comes to you and deals with the elements, which is exactly what your rising sign does. Yeah.
Yes, I love that. What I'm going to do is I want to give a shout out because we have Karen here with us as well. So Karen, if you wouldn't mind, because I was just reading your post, you wouldn't mind going, you probably do know your sun sign, and if you know what your rising sign is, on your chart, it might show up as ascending. Put that in the comments, and then this way here, Kitty can give you some insight to what's going on for you. Because now, again, the benefits of those of you who watch us live actually get some insight. So those who watch on the replay just gain insight based on what we're sharing with others, and it could resonate with you. But there's benefits of coming and joining us live. So, Carrie, if you don't mind, put that information in there. And as Kerry's doing that, I just want to share with Kitty that today I was having a conversation with a client of mine, and I was just saying to her that, and not just her, but many of us, we're in a space right now. So many people are so afraid to being in their darkness. They really want to push their lessons away. They want to like learn their lesson without learning their lesson. And the key of it is that we need to start appreciating when we are in these challenges, when we are having, rather than being in a space where we don't want to have a conversation with somebody because we want to avoid the conflict or a dispute. The idea is if you move into that conversation, you allow yourself the ability to express, but also the ability to listen. And that too helps us move into another layer of who we are. So if we keep avoiding or keep pretending like everything's okay, or just trying to rush through these lessons, we're not learning anything. So it's really, really important to remind ourselves, and I do this too for me, is to recognize, and I even say every day that I am really open. And sometimes after I say what I say to myself, why did I do that? Why would I ask for that? But I put out there and say to my creator, bring into my experience what I need to learn about me today. And that means lessons. That means there's going to be a challenge that's going to show up for you to learn about yourself. I was watching something today by Steve Harvey, and he says this, and probably everybody else says this too, but because I heard it from him today, I'm going to recognize him, where you do not grow when you are in a comfortable position. You do not grow when you are comfortable. And if you really, really want to grow and you really want to evolve into where you're supposed to be going, you really have to be ready to put yourself in an uncomfortable position. So that means having those conversations that you don't want to have, those intense. Like I know in the last week I've had with a lot of clients where there's so many clients who are in this energy where they want a new job or they want a promotion, but yet they're willing to stay in their current job because they're so afraid of asking for a raise, or they're so afraid that if they left their job and try to move into their purpose, that, oh my God, is it going to be able to fulfill me? Well, get into that space of afraid, because that's going to challenge you, and either have that conversation with your boss that it's time for you to go because you're no longer learning, or have that conversation with your boss and say, hey, you know what? I'm ready to climb the ladder now. So is there a promotion available? And put yourself in that space of uncomfortability, because that's what this energy is going to help us do.
Well,
as he said to me.
well, this is the energy of cognitive dissonance. You know, what doesn't match, what isn't working for you. And yes, you know, there's a wonderful book. If you haven't read it, I would highly recommend it. It's by Jill Bolte Taylor, called My Stroke of Insight. And one of the things, she is a neuroscientist who had a stroke, and talked about the recovery of the actual brain, the spiritual side, and the egoic side. And one of the things she says is emotions only last 90 seconds if you can just feel them, not assign them thoughts, not assign them. And so the cognitive dissonance is partially about getting rid of that reality check, those old patterns that you might have assigned a thought pattern to, and fears and emotions that you can learn to disconnect. And that's what this is about. This is the reality check, depending where, and the study of astrology is just the study of archetypes. Psychology is based on archetypes. It's just taking a look at the energy. It's just been around a really long time.
Yes, yes. So here we have it. Kerry is sharing with us her sun sign is in Taurus. She hasn't put up her ascending yet. So Kerry, if you do have that, please put that in there. And before you dive into giving her insight, Kitty, just want to mention to Gail, who just showed up as well. Hello, Gail. Gail, put in the comments your sun and ascending or rising sign, so Kitty can give you some insight to what this Neptune retrograde is going to help you with. So put that in the comments. Once it's there, I'll share it with Kitty.
And one of the things you're going to see, because it's Pisces, is working with addictions, because that is the denser vibration of, and anybody who's ever been in a 12-step program understands exactly what I'm talking about, of the lack of a spiritual peace. That's part of addictions. And, it's very opening for the third eye, but it may be a little confusing what comes through. So it's kind of a practice piece of that. So in Taurus, the reminder is this reality check is your job is not a solo job, but to look at a collective stability with whom you surround yourself in partnerships. You need to let go of what is not stabilizing you. Reality check. You need the reality to keep people in your corner that allow you to shine and not just exist. And you may find that people you were once very admired, you're all of a sudden disenchanted with. You start to see the foibles, and that's okay, because that helps in that stability of recognizing, if I recognize problems in others, I can deal with problems in myself. And you don't need to feel guilty about feeling like you need to retreat into a world of your own. But you will need to find trusted allies and expand your thoughts beyond just let me be into my routines. It is transiting the 11th house of friends and blessings. So it's time to become in tune with your whoever you want to call your family, your neighborhood, the circles that inspire you, and what's impacting your community. This is a good time to use your voice in the 3D and those kinds of things too. That's that Taurus energy.
Excellent. And Kerry just shared her ascending sign, which is Leo. Seems to be a lot of people watching us today are in that energy of the Leo and Taurus or Scorpio. So it's quite interesting there. And Gail, don't go away because we're going to get to you in a minute. So we're just finishing up with Kerry right now on the ascending Leo. So
okay. And so for Leo, this is about a lot of what's coming to you this year, that this retrograde. You're not here to save everyone, even if your heart calls you to do it. You need to question your repeating patterns. And in this sense of self, you're better here to understand your realm of possibility, what is and what isn't. Because it's transiting the 8th house, be mindful of who you trust, because you are dealing with the shadows, and there will be shadows that come to you to kind of have you take a look at them. It's you're going to feel a little restless for personal change and a fierce desire to evolve and stay the sun. And hard work is going to be rewarded, but you need to be brave enough to face your own patterns first, and that true empowerment will come for prioritizing your goals, not others' goals.
So Kerry, that was for you. Let us know if it resonates. Just put in the comments and I'll let Kitty know. So now we have Gail here. Gail happens to be one of my, how do you call it? My past life sister. Her and I were sisters in a past life. So I love the fact that she's here today. Thank you so much for being here. And she has a Libra sun and a Scorpio rising. She also has a Scorpio moon, by the way.
So one of the things you'll need to know is, obviously, whenever you deal with the energy that's your private energy, it's magnified, and you have to try to figure out the differences. Is this something I'm supposed to be using, or is this something that I am learning? So was a Libra sun, right?
Yes, her sun's in Libra and her rising is in Scorpio.
Okay, so her sun is all about, here's your phrase for your engine, what motivates you. Should you or shouldn't you? Is the key phrase in the way. Routines and obligations are going to be examined, because again, we're all looking at that reality check, in what you want from spirit, though, and your path, more than other particular signs. At times you're going to feel like everything around you, including you, is a hot mess. That's part of this, because Libra's always looking for balance, and this isn't about balance. This is like going through the sock drawer. Time management is going to be a big focus for you, though. Trying to not being late, trying to understand time, dimensionals of time leaping, time is going to be big. You are transiting the 6th house of systems and volunteering. So it's a very physical time. Your body systems are up front and present. Watch your health. Watch your health. Watch your health. You will be led, and it should establish new patterns that will help you. Monitor stress, ! Because stress affects those systems in your body. And make sure you put yourself in very structured and supportive systems that reduce your stress. So that's why it's should or shouldn't I, should or shouldn't I. Should I? Obviously, it's not everything I do, but be aware that it's more magnified for you, for your engine. Now, interestingly enough, for what's coming to you, because that's your ascendant, your love of life or your love life becomes a focus. Questioning is someone or something you really want. It's about my passions, because it's Scorpio. Get clear about what you want in love and beauty, and it's really going to understand for you in this reality check that it's okay if someone's wishes or systems don't match for you. You don't have to be the what's the word I want? You don't have to make it work for you. What is the status you want? In all of these, in either love of life or love focus, your inner artist, though, because you are transiting the 5th house. So creativity rises to the top. And it's supposed to be some fun. You're going to use this to escape some of the mundane things that come to you in life. But you will still need to, in this creativeness, be mindful of reality. Don't get sucked into the, I'm so out there creative that I'm still not here. And remember that you're going to be asked to celebrate the good vibes of others, because you may be feeling like not being recognized because of this fifth house, which is the house of Leo. But remember, celebrating others brings that vibe to you. And again, this is your ascendant, so that's what you want to you. Your interests are likely to change, and that may be hard for some people who are connected to you by your interests right now. So it's all right in this new love relationships to find people that support this new creativity, these new changes of interests.
Excellent. And Gail says, very accurate. Very accurate. Yes, yes, yes. So I just want to give a shout out that Damaris just popped in with us as well. I don't know if she's still watching, but she is here. And Damaris, if you are still watching us and you would like some insight regarding what this Neptune has in store for you, feel free to put your sun and ascending sign in the comments, and Kitty will give you some insight. And I believe that if Damaris does, she's going to be the last one that we give the insight to. So then Kitty, did you bring your cards with you today?
I have my cards. Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
We can spend a little time pulling some cards for those who are going to be watching on the replay, so they don't feel left out. And of course, it can benefit those of you who are watching with us live, because my cards will actually help you tap into a chakra to clear the energy, so you can be aligned to everything that Kitty is giving you guidance on. So with that being said, we're just going to see if Damaris is going to share some information. Otherwise, Kitty and I are going to start shuffling. And Carrie just says she loves hearing it's okay to be in my own world for a little bit. She never takes a full day off, and she decided to take today off. So Carrie, congratulations on that. Awesome. All right. So I don't know.
And I'll tell everybody, it started on the 21st and through July 5th. It's kind of a inkling of this whole Neptune retrograde that ends the 3rd of December.
Yes.
And speaking of that, keep your eye on September, because that's our big retrograde month.
Yes. And also, you just mentioned that the big portion of this energy goes to July 5th. On July 5th, Mercury comes out of Gemini on July 5th and moves into Cancer. So that should be quite interesting as well. So yes. You want to give a little taste, a little nibble of what that might look like with all of this other energy?
So Mercury's been in its home, when it's in Gemini, it's in its home sign. And so it is very capable, very coherent, very, and that's our third house energy. And we all know what it's like when it retrogrades.
Yes.
So when it enters Cancer, it moves from its fiery connection to this very nurturing, emotional. So what the communication becomes about is more this emotional piece. And since we're talking about Neptune, which is in this Pisces, emotional piece, I really think you're going to feel on that day very deeply a sense of, the word I'm hearing is loss, but more like a child like lost in space. And so as it moves through Cancer, it will settle. But that particular transition is going to be, and of course, we're going to come off this Independence Day. And so Gemini, Mercury in Cancer is also a quiet time. It's a time for reflection. It's a time for joy. It's a time, if you can tap into that higher, that more expanded version of Cancer, you're going with the ebbs and the flows and the depths that we can be. So
excellent. I love that. I love when we know how to work with this energy. And yeah, considering July 5th is what, next Wednesday, next Tuesday?
Next Tuesday.
So we have just a few more days where we have this Mercury Gemini, and we're going to be moving into that, more of a reflection and quieting ourselves down a little bit. So, hey.
But some people may not, because the denser version of Cancer is overwrought and emotional, and, it's got a fire, it's got a fire background with water, and you know what that can do. depending.
Yes, of course. Yeah, so we always got to keep that in mind that, there's always going to be two ends to this. Those of us who have the more calming side, and those of us are more like, yeah. So yes. So we're going to pull a couple of cards, see what we need to know, what insights we get from the cards. But before we do that, Kitty, did you want to share a little bit about what's going to be going on based on what you and I spoke about regarding the Pluto return? My words today. Woof.
So the United States has been in a Pluto return. So all of this stuff going on, not a surprise. And to participate with your energy is to send it. It's on two levels, 5D and 3D. One is action and using your voice. And the other is holding the space of not being triggered and drawn into where is it going to be, we're very clear that we aren't always going to change people's minds. So arguing is not, a piece of that. What we're coming to, though, at the end of July is the North Node and Uranus conjunction. And that's going to be for the world. And it's in Taurus. So it's about stability. It's about values. It's also about money. And so we will see some real play in the United States about a rising and a wanting to look at our values and taking action for it. And so people need to figure out what that's going to look like. And it's a karmic piece, always a karmic piece when we're talking about Taurus and talking about North Node. What goes around comes around, and what karma you want to release and what karma you want to start to create.
Yes. And just based on what Kitty's sharing about that Pluto return and the, what was the other part? The partnerships.
Mm-hmm.
I was pulling a card, and I think it's so interesting. The card we got was financial abundance. And Kitty mentioned about how you want to see things. So the third eye, and she mentioned this before too, the third eye gives you the ability to see beyond what's in front of you. So if you are in the space right now where you're looking at your finances where you don't have enough of it, again, you are your creator. So it's really important to use this energy to start shifting your vision of how you see money and start living in financial abundance. I had said this to one of my clients the other day. Even if you only have, let's say, $5 in your wallet, you have $5 in your wallet, which therefore use that $5 as often as you can to imagine what you're buying with your $5. And remember, it's not about the price tag. It's not like, well, what can I buy for $5? Well, when you have that mindset, it limits you. Believe that you can buy anything for $5. Believe that if you want to buy your mansion, you're going to buy it with your $5, because it's financial abundance. It's how you put your thoughts to it and what you believe in. So if you just turn around and say, well, I have financial abundance, but you don't believe it. This is what I had asked my client. She spurts out all these amazing affirmations, but then I asked her, well, how much of what you're saying do you truly believe? And she was like, well, I don't believe any of it. I said, and that's why you're having such a challenging time creating it into your reality, because you're just saying affirmations. And affirmations are powerful, but they're even more powerful when you actually believe in what you are saying. So you have the ability to see it, create it, use your imagination, your inner child. When we were children, we used our imagination all the time. So allow yourself as an adult to use your imagination to create the financial abundance in your life. That 1 in 7 is that 8 energy, which is that north-south node we've been working with, is that Scorpio energy. So this is a really great time to start letting go of really what no longer serves this chapter of your life. It's time to let go of the stories that we've been attached to that no longer serves this chapter. It's like, for example, and I read this the other day, if I sit here and I try to look at Kitty's life and her test that she's got, and I'm looking at her answers, my test page has different questions on it. So if I'm going to take what she's putting down on her page to put on my answers, I'm going to fail big time. So the reality of it all is if you're looking at your old chapter from years ago and applying it into this life, it's not going to fill you because it's an old story. So you got to get rid of that. And you really have to start with where you are now. And you get to create it by using your third eye. Activate it and see beyond and use your imagination. So that's the first card. Kitty, you have anything to add to that before you pull a card?
I was just thinking of something as I was sitting here, and I felt that some sadness connected to it. And I thought to myself, I'm listening to what she's saying, and I'm going, okay, so what do I believe about this? Let me feel it first and disconnect the thought that brought the emotion forward. And then all of a sudden it's like, So it really is that transformation, that 8 energy of believing, acknowledging that, because we came here, one of the things that's fascinating about us is our feelings. But what we can do with them allows us to transform them, make them different. And so I think that's a really important thing when it comes to abundance, and that is it's hard to, this is why we're in a reality check. What is it I can let go of so I can believe in that, so I can believe in what I value, so that I can believe even in what I believe abundance is. Yeah. So because you have different questions on your test paper.
Yes. And as they say in school, when you're sitting in the classroom and you're coming in for a test and they have you sitting next to each other, because they literally gave out 30 papers, and all 30 papers have the answers in different places. So your A answer is not going to be the same as your neighbor's A answer. So please do not peek at your neighbor's paper, because you're going to get a big fat 0 and your neighbor's going to be passing the test, hopefully.
Yeah.
Because you never know, your neighbor might be peeking at the other neighbor's desk too. And yeah, this is your journey. This is not your neighbor's journey. This is not your friend's journey. This is not your family's journey. This is your journey. And it's time to let go of the old story and really start moving into who you are and who you are becoming, and to allow yourself to be transparent and authentic about who that person is.
Yeah. And the card I pulled with your card was joyous fun, the 7 energy. And I think that that's as important as feeling all of this, is to have the fun. And in those times when you are feeling stuck in whatever, that's sometimes telling you, in order to get to the answer, take the time out to have some fun and allow the release in joy, because joy does travel and helps root out things in our bodies. It just does.
Yes. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to end off with one more card. Kitty, you want to read the card, or do you want me to?
You read it.
All right. I'm going to end it off with the last card for the day, because we know that your time is valuable, Kitty's time is valuable, and I have a workout to do. So, and this card couldn't be more perfect than it is. To start off with, what makes it perfect is the number 4. And that's exactly the sun energy we are in, the 4th house.
Yep.
Cancer. It's all about your home. And when we speak of home, it's your career, your shelter, and your actual body. It's about family as well. It's about taking care and nurturing yourself. And when we think about Cancer energy, it's associated with your mother, but also the things you are mothering, such as your projects, and how you are a mother as well to your inner child and anyone that sees you as someone who's a protector, a provider. Our word is patience. So something I learned from a former client of mine many years back, she said to me, never ask your creator for patience, because that means you're going to then have experiences that's going to require you to have patience. But what you can do is thank your creator for all the patience you already have. And when she taught me to do that, it was a game changer, because I was like, because she had asked me one day, she was witnessing me working with a client, and she says to me, do you pray for patience? And I'm like, every day. She goes, no. She goes, stop doing that. Start saying you're thankful for the patience you have, because this way you don't need to experience lessons that's going to require you to have patience. So I thought that was quite interesting and definitely a game changer. The chakra is the heart chakra, which is really about the matters of the heart. What matters to you most? What pleases you? What fills you up? What serves your purpose to what it is you are here to do? And recognize that Kitty and I have a mutual acquaintance, and I think it was last week or the week before. He had given me a reading, and one of the things he had said to me, to the group as well, was to let go of the word just went out of my day. Oh, your identity. Stop being attached to what you think you are identified by. So, for example, people knowing me as a personal trainer. That was who I am, but that's who I was for 30 years. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's who I'm going to continue to be. So stop being worried about how people know you, or what they think of you, or what they think you should be doing. So really allow yourself to move into your heart.
And Joanne, that goes so much with your reality check in Pisces. Have you lost yourself in another? Do you put others' dreams first? How do you find your, yes, so much.
Yes, and it is right now. It's like an eye opening, because it's like in that space where it's like I every single day am asking myself, okay, what direction am I going in? Where am I going to be going to? And I use the word at the end, but there's really no end. But let's say the end of this year, what is my next chapter really going to look like? So I do have to require some patience in this, because everything's not laid out just yet. There are some things that I'm still trying to gain some insight out, not figure out, but gain insight out, and really trusting my creator that everything that I'm supposed to be doing, that I'm going to be doing it just in a very different way than I'm doing it now. So I'm excited. And at the same token, it's like, I'm ready, I think. Yes. So that's our last card for today is, again, be grateful for the patience you have, drop into your heart, and really work on the matters of the heart. And that 4 energy is your foundation. Finding that balance, bringing balance back into the things that you're doing, be more stabilized. And with the 4 energy is also associated with being disciplined at what you do. And by being disciplined, you get what you desire. Where the old mantra used to be, we work really hard to get what we want. And that to me was just such a resistant statement. I had to change it over to discipline. We are disciplined enough to get what we desire, and we do, because we are disciplined to do it. So I love that. Love that. Any final words for you, Kitty?
No, I think we've said enough. Just, blessings on everyone. Think about what you want to put on in the world you want to be in. So
there you go. There you go. I love it. And just going to give a shout out to Liz, who just popped in. So anyone who's watching with us live, thank you so much for being here, spending time with us. And those who are watching on the replay, on whichever platform, YouTube, my business, and here, of course, on my personal page, thank you. And I'm sure Kitty and I will get together again real soon to play. And when we do, we'll let you all know. And remember that when you do come live with us, it's really important to have your natal chart, because we're always going to ask you whatever zodiac sign, where it is, what house. So be ready to play. And when you're ready to play, you walk out with some serious insight, I believe. So Kitty, thank you so much for being here today and playing. As usual, I always enjoy our time together.
I do too. I really do.
Let them know how they can reach you if they need to.
intuitionofthesoul11@gmail.com, or you can find me at on Intuition of the Soul. There's a private group. If you search it, you'll find both the public and the private group. And you can always send me a message that way. Come join. We're always doing something fun.
Yes, they do. They do. And all of you know who I am and where I am. And if you need anything, any questions, whatever, not just email healingwithin76@gmail.com, or leave a comment right here in the section here, and I'll come back and respond. Till next time, again, thank you, Kitty, for being here with me today.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.